Though we can necessarily talk about COVID, coronavirus disease, which in fact put a havoc on various societies in the world. We can talk about the chronic diseases, we can talk about the viral diseases, we can talk about the epidemic, we can have a large number of examples of the diseases. And more so in recent years when we talk about COVID, well, we really don't get any examples greater than COVID, which has certainly put the world upside down. Let me share with you some of the ancient era. Not really the ancient era, we're in fact talking about the mid of 20th century. Some old stories to be shared with you. During the flu epidemic, which broke out during World War, the mayor of New York City took drastic steps to check the damage which people were doing themselves through their inherent fear of ill health. He called in the newspaper men and said to them, "Gentlemen, I feel it necessary to ask you not to publish any scare headlines concerning the flu epidemic. Unless you cooperate with me, we will have a situation which we cannot control." The newspapers quit publishing stories about the flu, and within 1 month the epidemic had been successfully checked. See, this is how the media in fact plays a very vital role. So the leaders in fact need to give them a direction, and that's what the New York City mayor did. Through a series of experiments conducted some years ago, it was proved that people may be made ill by suggestion. We conducted this experiment by causing 3 acquaintances to visit the victims, each of whom asked the question, "What ails you?" "You look terribly ill." The first questioner usually provoked a grin and a nonchalant, "Oh, nothing, I'm all right," from the victim. The second question usually was answered with the statement, "I don't know exactly, but I do feel badly." The third questioner was usually met with the frank admission that the victim was actually feeling ill. Try this on an acquaintance if you doubt that it will make him uncomfortable, but do not carry the experiment too far. There is a certain religious sect whose members take vengeance upon their enemies by the hexing method. They call it placing a spell on the victim. There is an overwhelming evidence that disease sometimes begins in the form of negative thought impulse. Such an impulse may be passed from one mind to another by suggestion, or created by an individual in his own mind. The individual may create it in his own mind. A man who was blessed with more wisdom than the incident might indicate once said, "When anyone asks me how I feel, I always want to answer by knocking him down." Doctors send patients into new climates for their health because a change of mental attitude is necessary. The seed of fear of ill health lives in every human mind. Worry, fear, discouragement, disappointment in love, disappointment in business affairs cause this seed to germinate and grow.